right, looks like people are starting to file in here. We can go and get started. So thanks for everybody for joining today. I got with me Taylor Thorson from ConnectBooster. Hey, Taylor.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good, doing good.
Thanks for having us.
Where are you calling in from today?
I am coming in from Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
First time caller, right?
Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, I'm working from home out of South Dakota for the time being.
Yeah, gotcha. So I'm down in hot Atlanta, which I hate that phrase.
Yeah.
It is hot, but yeah, so great. So I'm with Cognition360. My name is Aaron Kennedy, and so what we do is we provide actionable insights and analytics for MSPs. So we pull data out of ConnectWise, for example, and kind of look at that from an operational standpoint to say, hey, where can you improve your business, and pulling stuff out and helping them. So we make all that stuff for you. You don't have to make it. So that's my quick elevator of what we do. Can you talk a little bit about ConnectBooster?
Yeah. So easiest thing to say about us is we're an AR platform that automates the billing and collecting part of your guys' businesses, just to help you guys get paid faster, cheaper. And I think what we're really going to talk about is just more reliably and easier for your customers today. So
great. So one of the things that I've always kind of harped on, so I used to have an MSP, and I was real big on just the experience that my customers had. And so the shortest way to do it is just make it easy to do business with me. And so if I was making it difficult, either from hey, are we taking a long time to work that ticket, or even down to like, I got to sign this quote, but I signed it and now I got to print it and fax it back in, use some archaic method to do that whole thing. And I know you guys help out a good bit with that on the collection side, and I guess on the quoting side too, because you can integrate with those sell platforms and things like that to just make payment pretty easy. Do you guys get that a lot, or is it more just kind of like, hey, I want to get more money. I need more cash in my account. Is that why people come to you?
I think it's both. I think it's one, we don't make it easy for our customers to pay us, and that's frustrating. And it's like everybody just wants it easy, and we tend to not do that, right? Like we just live in a society, we want things done like today. We want things done yesterday. So being able to give that to our users, but I think too, just saving them time with the overall process. Did you ever do this in your MSP? Have to do the billing or anything?
Fortunately, I did not.
Right?
So I was really good at getting the money to come in and keeping the customers happy, but I rarely had to get involved. That I was having those not fun conversations where, hey, it's been 120 days, and are we going to keep service with you, and things like that. So nobody looks forward to those kind of conversations, but we did not have, I don't know if ConnectBooster existed. This is ancient times. Like we were doing everything on an abacus, but it would have been great to have some I remember manually setting up some things in ConnectWise to like, hey, reminder, you haven't paid this in a while. And when I first did it, the way it works right now is you create the invoice in ConnectWise, and then it gets dumped over to your accounting package.
Yep.
And then they usually pay it and mark it as paid in your accounting package. And when I was doing it at first, there was no sync back to tell ConnectWise that those invoices had been paid. So you wouldn't really know. So you couldn't really do any automation. So any kind of quote follow-ups or something were either some weird cryptic email from QuickBooks, which probably didn't happen, or just a manual email, like someone's had to go through and send an email. And, we would templatize that as much as possible, but it was still a painstaking process back then. And so when ConnectWise enabled that feature to kind of sync back, like, oh, this has been paid, then we could manually make some workflows, but it's nothing compared to what I've seen that you guys do.
Yeah. I mean, some people are spending hours upon hours of still doing that manual work, even though there's simple, easy ways to automate it, like start to finish.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I've heard people spending like 2 or 3 days a month just doing manual invoices and sending them out. And I'm like, you guys are crazy.
Yeah, why?
there's a much easier and much cheaper way to be doing this than we're doing it. And I think just touching on what you said, why do people come to us too, is like credit card fees. That's a big thing.
Okay.
we make taking payments just a little bit easier and recoup those fees and a little more cost effective, which can be.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's
It's
gonna add up now. Everybody's
yeah,
probably
that's a
paying
big
with a
thing.
credit card right now, right? We used to get a
Honestly,
lot of checks. That was most. I mean, I'm really aging my MSP right now, but cash in an envelope. We had to go pick it up. No, it's funny. I do have a friend who runs an MSP in Cayman, and they don't do like e-payments at all. So, because I've talked to him about, you should get ConnectBooster, and he's like, they don't even write checks. Like, it's literally an envelope with cash in it that's they pin to a pin board, and they're like, okay, checks ready, cash is ready. Come by and pick it up the next time you're out here. And I'm like, what? That does not real.
that does not sound safe. That I feel like that can't work well for them, but clearly it does. I mean,
Right.
but it's surprising. Checks are probably still the number one way people take payments, even
Oh,
at
yeah?
MSP. Yeah.
Really?
Just because I think they want to steer far away from the fees of credit cards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The fees, right? Yeah. Checks
Yeah.
free. Oh, it just takes forever.
It's just like, yeah, all the work that goes into it, but who's
Yeah.
counting that?
They think it's free. Right. Right.
Oh yeah. I think everyone deep down knows though, like this isn't most efficient, but it's
Right.
like,
I mean, if you
well,
spend an hour collecting something that could have been a credit card charge, I mean, you've more than made up for that fee.
I know, and I'm like, I feel like checks eventually will be a thing of the past. You start
I
looking
hope
at the
so.
younger generations coming. I'm like, they probably don't even know how to write a check.
Yeah, they don't even know what a check is. They don't even know
No,
what a
like
check
that's
is.
just not something that they even
Yeah.
know anymore. So
Listen to us old people talking about this younger generation. So I was talking to my daughter recently, and I was like, yeah, you need to hang up the phone. And she's like, what do you mean hang up? And I was like, I don't know how to describe that to you.
like you were not using the same phone we
You're just
were.
pushing the red button. That's what you're really doing. You're not really hanging it up on anything. But yeah, so I'm becoming super old. Well, what we like to do at Cognition is we're data nerds, and so we love to play around and kind of figure out like, how does this data in this area of the business affect this other area. So talking about customer experience, I'm going to share my screen real quick, and then just show. So one of the things that we do at Cognition is, instead of doing all that manual process, like you were like going after money and all that kind of stuff, all that manual stuff, why would you spend all that time going at when you can automatically have that ready for you? We do the same thing on the reporting side, so we can have the analytics, and we build all this stuff for you. So one of the things that we like to do in terms of correlating data is we're look at financial data and see that how that correlates to operational data. So if you can see right here, basically what this is saying is you've got, I got an insane amount, 2.7 million in total outstanding, with an average of 26 days. So just to be totally clear, this is real MSP data. The names have been changed to protect the innocent, but this is real MSP data. So this is not made up. So I'm hoping that there's some kind of bad debt right there, because that is that's probably the highest I've ever seen. I didn't even notice that until this moment. So average 26 days past due, and you can sort that by customer and change billing type to agreement or whatever you want to see. But just overall, this is what we're looking at. And if you see, most of this is related to invoices and invoices payments. So you got over here, what are the total outstanding amounts by customers? So some of these are either they're big customers or they just owe a lot of money. But then if you see over here, we got CSAT. So those are those scores that come back from like, hey, how good are we doing for you, even on a ticket basis or overall? And so what I like to do is just play around to see like, what are the data points that kind of make sense. So if you come back here and you're looking at this overall, so these are invoices that were generated in August and then moved to July. And you can say this is just kind of general, like I pay within about 30 days. So this is not like a tight AR process. This is just, hey, you're paying like it when you're supposed to pay, right? And then you see there's a dip here where they move into, really there's about 300K in revenue, which using a product like ConnectBooster could really help with automating this and pulling this way down. I mean, 300K, just think about that. That's 300K that's not in the bank. And if you're carrying that month to month, I mean, that's just money that you don't have. So that's just a cost to your business.
Yep. And that's a lot of people though, too. Like when you look at that, that's like very common for MS, in the space. And I don't think people always
Yep.
realize that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So yeah, we're trailing on here, and then there's kind of a jump here. And so, okay, so let's just take a look at March 22. So these are invoices from back in March that are unpaid. Average days unpaid is 144. So like 30 grand in revenue. But look at these customers. These customers basically hate you. So every time you send them an invoice, they're like, I don't want to deal with you because it's so difficult to deal with you.
Yep.
Or you might even be sending them payments and they're totally okay to pay it, but your systems are so archaic that they're just like, forget it. Just come and pick up a check. I put some cash in the envelope. Come pick it up when you want. And so that's one of the things that I love to play around with is just, I clicked off of it, is just looking at that data where you can say, okay, what does this look like? And why would this happen? And then, okay, so what can we do with it? So if you can, I've seen a little bit of the ConnectBooster portal a long time ago. And I would love you to show that real quick. Because I think that is something that just really makes it really easy for customers, and getting back to that customer experience and making that as frictionless as possible is just something that I just think is awesome.
And it's like, we live in a time, like we were saying before, people just want easy. If you make it easy, that's what people are looking for. Can you see this?
Yep.
Awesome. So this overall, like this is what you'll see from the user, but this is what your customer will see. So they'll have a fully branded portal, or it'll be white, branded to your company. Obviously, you can put reminders, you can do whatever, but the beautiful thing is they can see what's due. They can see what's past due. They have the auto pay right here, which absolutely just makes it the easiest for your customers to pay you. That way they're not even thinking about it. You have them automatically pulling.
Oh, for like any agreement invoices?
Yep. And like the nice thing is that's all automatic. With if you have variable billing and things are changing month to month, we pull that automatically. So there's nothing that they have to do on their end. But they can just see right here, your payments are stored. You can see the terms. Everything is right there for your customer. And then another nice thing is let's go to open invoices. They can see every open invoice that they have open. So let's say they want to pay this, they go into it. Oh, this is not what I wanted to do. And I go back to the dashboard right here, make a payment. More. Oh goodness, this is not
classic live demo problem.
Yeah, this is not. I'm like, we just did this. All right, here we go. Pay selected. Yeah. And then they can pick, credit card, bank, anything like that. And the nice thing is if you're taking credit card, you can see where this adjustment is right here. And that's what you're going to be saving. So your customers know, hey, by paying, credit card, that you're going to have a little bit of fees on the end. So I'm not doing it, but it just makes it easy.
Go click on that schedule payment. That's pretty neat. I didn't know that on the bottom left. Oh no, you clicked off.
I just clicked out of it. Here, I can do it again.
Yeah, right there. I've never seen that before. So you can just say, hey, pay this next June or but it's really neat.
And then the nice thing that you're not seeing here is we send out the automated emails for you, and then they can just pay right on that email as well.
Now, are those emails already made, or if I'm a new ConnectBooster customer, do I have to go create those?
Nope. So they're all templated out already. Obviously, your messaging, your wording, but that way it's just easy on your end. And I think this is nice. I mean, this is just for the
I just love how simple this is. I mean, it's just like, I can manage everything right here. This is like the way it should be.
Right. And then it's like, they're not calling you to, hey, what have I paid? What's this look like? What's this charge? I'm like, go look in the portal. I mean, it just gives you 24/7 access as well, which is super nice. And then, I mean, this is just kind of fun on the user's end. I got to go back this way. Apologize. But you can actually see what companies right here are like the ones not paying.
Okay.
So right on their dashboard, they can see that. And then you can also see what's scheduled with auto pay. So this is a calendar, shows you everything that's coming on your end. So
cool. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So doing things like that would definitely make it where, I mean, the customer at that point has no excuse not to pay. And think like if they're not paying, then you should know there's no extra reason you're not paying other than you just don't want to pay. And then that's where you pick up the phone and have a call and that kind of stuff. And you'll be able to see that in that dashboard, I'm sure, of, hey, this is 90 days past due and flag you. You need to call this customer and take care of business, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and the minute it's late, they're getting late reminders. All of that's being done on our end as well, which is nice, because those are just not fun calls. I don't know if you've ever had to make. Obviously, you have, but they're just not fun.
I threw up a thing in the chat here. If you're interested in trialing Cognition360 or doing a demo of ConnectBooster, just click that there, and you should have that up in a second. Well, that's really cool that you guys can do that. What's the implementation process like for you guys?
Yeah, so that's probably like the number one question we get. And the best part is you can be up and running.
That was not scripted, I swear. I just
no, but seriously, that's what I had written down. We can get you up and running in less than a day, but the actual implementation is going to be 2 hours, 2.5. You're on our team with our specialists, so they'll get you up and going, and
yeah,
it's a super quick, easy process. So
cool. That's great. That's great. All right. So let's see if we got any questions here to go over. How does Cognition360 compare to a dashboarding tool? Okay, so Cognition only question. So what we do is we're pulling in data. So we pull that in a data warehousing fashion. So a dashboarding tool is just going to show you what's happening right at this moment. So it can look and say, hey, you have 42 invoices unpaid, but it doesn't know last month at this time you had 72 invoices unpaid. And so it can't do that trending over time that you can do. Some of the dashboards have some what they call data warehouse light, where they can go back like 6 months or something like that. We have the ability to go back as far back. I mean, if you've had ConnectWise for 15 years and Arnie did your implementation, then we can go back 15 years if you wanted to. And then we also do forecasting, so we can use that historical data to forecast and things like that. So what is your AR process going to look like based on your trending and your changes and stuff like that? There's some pretty neat kind of advanced stuff that we can get into, and I'm happy to kind of go through that offline with you if you want.
What's like the setup for you guys? I was just thinking, on your end.
Yeah, you're going to ask me the question I asked you, right?
Yeah. But no, I actually am curious.
Yep. So ours is it's pretty painless in terms of getting set up connected. So we got to get connected to the data first, and then we do an onboarding call after that, and that takes about an hour. And that's where we're going through and we're making sure you know where things are, and then also just kind of talking to you about the low hanging fruit. So a lot of times people walk away from that call, and it's, oh, you know what? I thought this customer that paid me 20 grand a month was my best customer, and it turns out they're my worst. And because their profitability is super low, like a lot of people don't have a good handle on that, because it is difficult to build all that, especially if you're trying to do that on your own. But we've got that pretty much turnkey where you just sign up and then you can get that insight and on that onboarding call. So it's pretty painless from that perspective. And then obviously we haven't been around as long as ConnectBooster, but we're working
we're
on.
Old.
You are old in this space for sure. You guys have been around for a while, but yeah, so we're working on minimizing that and making it where that's you can sign up overnight and do all that kind of stuff that you want to see immediately. But yeah, we're constantly working on trimming down onboarding, just making it easier for people. The other thing that some other companies do is, if you want to use our tool, you have to change how you do business, or you have to go back and fix 3,000 data entries that weren't right. We don't do that. We've made it flexible where you don't have to do that kind of thing. So if you say, hey, these 3,000 data entries that are wrong, they should actually be this, we just make that change on our side and you're done. So we try to make it where you don't have to do a ton of work to get real insights on your business, because we know that everybody's trying to do, less with more, and, with hiring weirdness and stuff right now and everything else going on, nobody has time to sit there and go through 3,000 data entry lines.
Brilliant.
Yep. So that was a long answer to your question, but
do you see people mostly fixing like inefficiencies on the ticketing support side? Like, is that where you guys really see, hey, this is where we can really boost your business and where you're really lagging?
Yeah. So it's usually pointing out behavioral issues, which kind of sounds very parental now that I say it. But it's more just like, hey, you've got people that are good technicians, but they don't put their data in right. And you kind of suspect that's happening, but you don't really know it. until you have some sort of like, what is the line and where does everybody kind of meet up with that line? So that feeds into everything else. So if we're talking about, do I update the system when I'm supposed to? If I go and pull your profitability numbers and your guy's working on something for 10 hours, but he doesn't put in that he worked on it for 10 hours, then of course your profitability is not going to look right. So we've got things where, hey, this doesn't look right. Let's go over to this. And it looks like this technician needs to get better about putting in his time. And we've gotten really good about kind of gamifying it. So it's the faster you put time in and all that kind of stuff, and we can all score all that kind of stuff together. It's pretty neat. But what we're trying to do is not be like, hey, here's a cool visual dashboard that you can go see. It's supposed to be, hey, here's a problem and here's where you look for that problem. And then let's keep measuring on that problem and gamifying it and making it work for you. So you can really see some big improvements in people that take a look at the tool where they're like, oh, I didn't know this customer wasn't profitable. Why are they not profitable? Oh, it's because of this reason. And I'm spending 16 hours a day hounding them on my AR. Hey, you know what? I need to sign up for ConnectBooster, and then that solves that problem. So there's things like that we do.
There's sometimes like little things in business we don't realize are so inefficient or costing us. And then by seeing that and realizing how we can automate that, I think it provides much bigger difference than you could realize.
Right.
But
sounds good. So I think that's it for today. Thanks for joining. It was good chatting with you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Your move goes well, and I'll probably see you at IT Nation, I think, or something probably. Right?
I know that'll be November. Will be here before we know it. So I'm excited.
Talking about planning it at my team. I'm like, oh, I feel like I just recovered.
This will be my first one, so I'm like, gosh,
oh wow,
I'm a little nervous. I better.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
I'm excited.
It's my favorite place because it's just like, oh, these are all people like in my space, and they're all on the same bar or whatever. It's great.
No, I can't wait. Every big event's always so fun. So
yeah, there. Yeah. Cool. Well, good chatting with you, and we'll catch you next time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I see you.